everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And we are back with a new episode of the Gourmet Goober podcast. You can find me always JJ Outlaw, at least for now, until things change. It goes day by day on Twitter, but if you are on Twitter still, you can find me at JJ Outlaw. You can also find me on the Instagrams at Gourmet Goober. And every week every episode rather, I'm here with my BFF, my hubby, that dude, the big cheese in charge, Big Daddy, aka T Outlaw. How's it going?
It is going well. You can find me on the musky Twitter at T Outlaw, that's TOUTLAW, and on IG at T Outlaw Jill C. Wells, like the movie.
We are still on Facebook, even though I despise Facebook. But, if you're on there checking with your mom and them and getting a hold of people, you can find us at the Gourmet Goober blog. That's where we started. You can also check out said blog, which is still there since we started in 2013 at thegourmetgoober.com, and always drop us a line at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. Again, that's thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. So, before we get started, I just want to give a really big apology because over the past week, we are still working on the 2 mini episodes that we intended to drop last week. But because of technical difficulties with the file, I was not able to do that. So my deepest apologies, both the Black Panther review as well as for our trip to London. Both of those will be posting soon. So I really appreciate your patience.
I broke it.
In the meantime, I just wanted to say thank you again for all of you who've reached out and said that you were happy that we were back. We're really thrilled for your support. And yeah, it's been kind of a crazy couple of weeks with me on the new job and the Thanksgiving holiday. Once again, we didn't do a traditional Thanksgiving. We decided instead to do kind of order from Goldbelly's kind of thing. And dude, we talk about Goldbelly so much. They should be a sponsor of the show.
Yeah, they are getting mad pup from us.
So let me just say, I'm not being paid to mention Goldbelly. That said, I had a really cool exchange with them on Twitter that I'll talk with you off mic. It was actually pretty cool. I guess they have taste concierge.
Really?
Yeah. So you can tell them what you're looking to eat or what flavor profiles you're looking to experience. I know, fancy, right?
Yes, it is.
I would like to have, caviar hot dogs. I don't know if anyone makes that, but, I was just saying. And then they will help you find something that matches that. So, shout out to Goldbelly. We ordered from these 2 really great places. We'll talk about it, I'm sure, in the 3rd segment on the best thing we ate this week. But yeah, it was really helpful and easy, and for Thanksgiving, I didn't have to cook. I can be in my PJs and watch the dog show, which is always the dream.
For you.
Well, yeah, because you had to work. Because you always work to work on Thanksgiving.
Hey, I have to trade in because, my celebration is Christmas for obvious reasons, but nonetheless, I very much enjoy Thanksgiving from Goldbelly. It was delightful, but for the most part, yeah. The Goober got to hang out in her PJs, which were adorable, and watch the dog show and other crazy movies.
I didn't watch any crazy movies. I stayed off the Marvel movies. I think I tried to watch that Thanksgiving horror movie, Thanksgiving, which was so bad. You have to realize how bad a movie has to be for me to comment on it. Because I once, and I think I talked about it on the show, when I was in grad school, me and some friends of mine, we had this bad movie club that we formed. So after, 2 years of binge watching on Friday nights, trying to outdo each other, Charles Band and Troma movies, which, as a side note, if you don't know why they're bad, just Google them. Especially the Charles Band. I used to tell Big Daddy that I would like pop Jolly Spins in the nose on sight if I ever met him because some of those movies were horrible. Not like horrible and like so good they're bad kind of way, just like bad. But anyway, I don't think I was been watching too many horror movies or too many bad movies. You know, I was watching BritBox on Thursday. On Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah, she has her BritBox moments, so yeah, she indulged in BritBox while
No. I remember now what I was doing. Dude, that's when I realized that my life is murder's come back.
Okay.
And so I got Acorn. Acorn TV, in case you guys didn't know, is like another streaming service. There's so many out there. But it focuses on British television and beyond. And My Life is Murder is this Australian, like, it's kind of like Murder, She Wrote meets Sex in the City. Kind of. Sort of.
Okay.
With Lucy Lawless. Although I'm obsessed with Madison, who is her assistant. But yeah, it's set in New Zealand / Australia, and it's really, really good. So I saw that they had like a new season, and I basically popped my head in while Big Daddy was working. It's like, oh, we're paying $6.99 for Acorn. See ya. And I went to watching it.
See, the things you learn when you get done with work.
You're like, wait, we're doing what? We're paying for what? We got what?
I don't even ask questions anymore.
My Life is Murder. See ya. It's a great show.
It is a very good show. You do kind of get secretly. It's a secret pleasure, I guess.
Yes.
You know, once you kind of get into it, because I'm not one to binge watch things, but I have, like in previous seasons, like, yeah, kind of fallen in and watched a few episodes of the show because it is kind of quaint.
Plus, for us foodies out there, and in addition to solving mysteries, Alexa, who is her main character, is I just turn on everything. Lucy Lawless' main character, who shares the same name as apparently the AI in our building, is also a bread baker. So I have learned a lot about sourdough bread from watching her. Just as a side note. Because I'm a foodie, so you give me a good murder mystery and food? Yeah, that's perfect.
Like in the recent season, does she still make bread?
Yes.
Like in the middle? Okay.
Yes, she does. So, outside of that, how was your week?
How was my week? Everything has kind of been coming like fast and furious. As of this taping, we currently know in the FBS who the 4 teams are in the college football playoff, that being Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and TCU, which is, so those are your 4. I know next year they're going to go into like a 12-team playoff, but we now know that, and along with, you know, the bowl schedule will be coming out fairly soon. And also on the other side of the college football coin, I guess still in Division I, shout outs to shout out to the house down the mouth of the South, Jackson State University, the SWAC champions. Holla. The SWAC champions, Jackson State took down Southern University in the SWAC championship, and Coach Deion Sanders culminated his undefeated season with a new job. No longer at Jackson State University. He will now be the new head coach, or at least it was announced that he will become the new head coach at the University of Colorado, so he will now be a Buffalo. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, I'm good with, you know, Primetime getting his money. Coach Prime will now be directing the Buffs as opposed to the Tigers. But, you know, it's good for him, good for his family. I don't know how I feel about it for, you know, the HBCUs, but at the same time, I guess you got to go where your coin goes. So, shouts out to them. Also, this is my thing for the last week or two coming out of Thanksgiving. Okay. So there's like this thing been going around. So your boy Fetty Wap, who I found out from the Goober, has been, he's busy doing other things, but apparently he dropped this thing where he's referring to Yamz.
Are we going into this again? Oh my God.
This has become the earwig that I cannot get out of my head because it keeps coming and coming and coming and coming. And I can't stop it no matter how far I try to run from it. I'm like run back to like old 70s music to try to run away from it. But social media keeps bringing me back. This Yam song is killing me right now.
Okay, should we like take a moment just to explain for our listeners who may not be familiar?
Yeah, please unpack this.
Okay, first of all, before we go any further, because I know we've attracted some really cool new listeners lately who may not know our dynamic. So I work as a writer, and I write in several different genres with, like, you know, corporate and nonprofit agencies. Big Daddy, on the other hand, he works in sports. So the reason why he's working on Thanksgiving is his life kind of revolves around the sports arena, right? So when he was talking about college football, for those who are listening, like, wait, I thought this was a foodie show. Well, you're going to get sometimes a little lamb yap, as we say down south, where it's a little something extra. So that's why he was talking about that. But more importantly, the Yams, which you were talking about, is a song that dropped by Fetty Wap. Right?
Yes.
It's actually a cover of a song that came out, I want to say last year, in 2021. Let's see, what was the name of the producer? The producer's name, I think, is, Masego and Devin Morrison, right? And they called it Yams. So Fetty Wap, who is busy because he's either in prison or he's waiting to go to prison for drug trafficking, like a lot of drug trafficking.
Allegedly.
Well, no, he claimed he pled guilty. So
okay.
At least, look, I'm not getting into the dynamics of that.
Exactly. I ain't messing with nobody about to do a bid.
Yeah. All I know is, oh boy, in the middle of like dealing with this, decided to drop probably the sweetest track about yams, not about yams, that is hitting in time for Thanksgiving. So it's kind of like everywhere, and Big Daddy and I have been obsessed because even though we're not Fetty Wap fans, we are fans of Charlie.
First name Charlie, last name Wilson. Because I'm starting to think the brother don't know his own name. He has to keep repeating it in songs.
So Fetty Wap is normally a rapper, and he sang this version with the help of auto-tune. And some of the young people that are out there, because my job is in social media, so I'm always monitoring.
You are the monitor.
Why can't I say that? Monitoring social media for trends for my current job, which is with this corporation. They cannot be named. So anyway, I was like, what is this Yams thing? And I was seeing people like reposting it on TikTok and things like that. And it's hilarious because all of these young people are hearing Fetty Wap perform with autotune and they're thinking it's Charlie Wilson. And I like played it for Big Daddy and we're like, nah, for you youngins out there, that is not Charlie Wilson. Well, apparently Charlie Wilson heard about this and decided to record his own version. And if you're not familiar with Charlie Wilson's voice, his voice is best known beside his solo work as his work with the Gap, right?
The Gap Band, yes.
Yes. Once you hear him sing for the Gap Band, there's no mistaking it. You can pick it out of a lineup anywhere. You have your eyes blindfolded and be like, yo, that's Charlie Wilson.
Yes, he does have a very, very distinctive voice.
Yes, that's Uncle Charlie, as we say in the community. And Uncle Charlie showed out. And so now for the past, 2 weeks, we have been obsessed with referencing Yams, playing the Yams music, Charlie's drop of it. There's a remix actually that's actually pretty tight that plays. It starts off with the original song Yamz that came out in 2021, and then it went to Fetty Wap's version, and then it ends with Uncle Charlie's riff, so to speak. It's actually pretty tight, but yeah.
Also, it's now become like a random challenge, a random like singers and whatnot. Now like taking up on the mantle of trying to like drop this riff of their own version of Yams. Like I don't know if Tyrese has jumped on this, but I think like I know
Tank has done it.
Yeah, Tank has done it. I think he tried to challenge like Jamie Foxx and Genuine. No, was it Genuine? Tank, Tyrese.
I know that. Jamie Foxx, I think, did it?
Yeah, Fox has done it. He's challenged a few people.
Mario
dropped
did it.
Yeah.
And so we've been, like, obsessed, like, all week. We've been referring to making Yams jokes, playing the music whenever we find, oh, there's a new person in the challenge. Yeah, because we're old heads appreciating the fact that y'all thought that was Charlie Wilson. But then that led to a very bizarre discussion with you last night. As we're having a production meeting.
Okay. So
I'm not even sure you should admit this.
But I have to because
okay, all right.
I have to admit when because I'm reaching that threshold of old man status. You know how like you listen to stuff on the radio, or like you hear something like on social media and you're just like, oh okay, that's kind of funky. I kind of like that and whatever. And this used to be a thing of like, when your mama or your daddy would hear something on the radio and he'd be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And then you hear what the original version was, or you find out what really, like, when you really find out what OPP stands for.
Oh, my God. Okay, let's not go back into that. That was traumatic.
Yeah. Now, great. I knew from the get-go, what, as a young man, what OPP stood for, for men and women. But, okay, I have to freely admit, the Goober had to educate me because I didn't know what yams were. I'm sitting here thinking the dude's talking about, like, the vegetable.
You're actually thinking they're talking about Thanksgiving yams.
I thought it was. I was like, man, like, is he really talking about yams? Is he talking about colloquialism for something? And I'm like, in my mind, because you only listen to it in parts. So I had no clue. I didn't know the genealogy of this thing. So yeah, I was educated. I admit it.
And it was so funny because literally we're having this conversation. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? And then I felt bad because he was serious. So all I did was I played the video, the original video, like in case you're wondering. And he looked at it for like 5 seconds. He's like, oh, okay, we're on the same page now. I'm like, yeah.
No, it still took a little more than 5 seconds. I think it took like almost a whole minute for me to get my mind around it.
See, I was trying to like cover for you, baby.
Okay, it's okay to admit I'm slow on the come up. I'm reaching that old man Danny Glover status.
Mm. Well, no, we had mentioned this before. He is still incarcerated, and he's facing 5 to 9 years in prison after pleading guilty to a drug charge in August where he conspired to sell cocaine. His bail was revoked after he violated conditions of his pretrial. Police said, unfortunately, he threatened to kill someone with a video call. So, okay. Wasn't all that sure about Fetty's past? That said, I do want to say he did release a pop with Yamz, so, hey. However that came about, it is an earworm, and I really love it. And apparently, and I didn't know this, he actually gave away food and stuff for Thanksgiving for his fans. And he had cans that were especially canned yams with, like, his face on it.
Okay.
So, he gave away yams as part of it. And other things. So, it was free food and groceries and things like that for everyone who attended the event. That's
cool. My man doing good for the neighborhood.
So, not only is the song a bop, but apparently it led to helping to feed families who are struggling on this Thanksgiving. So, you gotta love that.
Yeah, that is helpful.
But yeah, I was trying to cover for you and about how long it took for you to get the Yamz concept.
It's okay. Sometimes hey, it's okay to admit. Sometimes as an old black man, I'm not hip to everything. I really admit it. It's okay. I'm not gonna I'll take the wink nod. I'm okay. I'm a man who is still intact today.
You know what? That wasn't the only thing that you were confused about, though, because we also had the conversation about remember the mayonnaise in the drink?
Oh, dear Lord. I need a minute, y'all.
So if you're not aware of that, Hellman's, who is well known for a maker of mayonnaise, they have announced that they're suggesting to individuals use mayonnaise as a key ingredient to make eggnog. So
that's right.
I know what you're thinking, like, ew, with a double side of ew and a side of ew. But as I was telling Big Daddy, that actually makes sense in a way because, yes, mayo contains oil, which you probably don't want in your eggnog. But on top of that, it's made with a hell of a lot of eggs, right?
Yes.
I mean, at its basic breakdown of components, mayonnaise is just eggs that's whipped in oil and, a couple other things for emulsifier. But it's the eggs and the oil that makes it so effective in cooking. So, for example, and we had talked about this on a previous podcast, Portillo's and their legendary chocolate cake, their key ingredient of why that chocolate cake is so moist and delicious is actually they use mayo.
Which still horrifies me, but at the same time, that's a damn good cake.
So in the case of Hellman's, they actually announced that they are coming up with something called a frozen eggnog recipe. Only the egg has been replaced with mayo. They actually got together with a hospitality group, I think, that's led by, Cody Ghosteen, who is a well-known mixologist. And basically what they did is they came up with a drink that is largely, milk and heavy cream and a quarter cup of mayo. But then they also added like a half of rum, apple brandy, and cognac.
Okay, so basically it sounds like, not so much, a mixologist like doing some work in the lab, but it sounds like somebody got a little drunk off the brandy and rum and whatever, and, well, this concoction kind of came about.
So I have to say, other than that was also Big Daddy's obsession over the last couple of weeks, because we talked about that a lot, about whether or not and what form or fashion I would be tempted to try something like this.
You? Particularly you?
Well, okay, obviously not me with the rum and the cognac and all of that, because I like to live. I'm allergic to alcohol.
Yeah, but at the same time, like me personally, I don't know if I would try this, because it's mayo. But, I mean, yeah, from time to time, I do enjoy a good eggnog.
Well, let me ask a question. Is it the mayo? So it's the mayo as the ingredient that had you so worked up these last couple of weeks? Just the idea of thinking about it.
Yes. Somewhere as I see mayo going into a drink, my mind just freezes. I can't get down with that, but I'm sure that there are other things I have seen going into a drink that I have tried, experimented with from time to time that, actually turned out to be somewhat decent. But yeah, seeing mayo go into an eggnog would probably, it still freaks me out. We're just going to say that.
You know what? I'm not freaked out that it's an ingredient. I'm actually freaked out because, and I think I talked to you about this before, for some weird reason, just the idea of mayo as a substance grosses me out. Just the way it looks in the mouthfeel and how it's, I just can't. Yeah. Like, I can put it in, someone will have to put it in it and like whip it so I don't see it, and then I'll be fine. Like, I can drink it knowing it's in it. I just can't handle, I don't know, it's just one of those things that just, ew. And the thing is, I used to love mayonnaise. when I was a little kid, and then something happened, and I was just like, nah, Ma, I don't think I'll have this.
Did you grow up on mayonnaise sandwiches?
Actually, once upon a time, I did do that before I switched to mustard sandwiches, which, don't laugh, mustard sandwiches back when I was a kid was the thing.
Okay, I freely admit I never had a mustard sandwich.
Mustard and cheese sandwiches was my jam as a child.
I mean, because I used to do peanut butter sandwiches, like, once or twice, there were a few times I did mayonnaise sandwiches, because whatever, meat I had sometimes wasn't quite stretching the way I wanted to. I've never done a mustard sandwich, and I know just for fun a couple times in college, because, you drink a little bit, you do stupid things. We should talk about people being as country as the sugar sandwich. Okay, maybe once or twice I try a sugar sandwich. I ain't never doing that again.
Well,
but yeah.
Well, this person who developed it, apparently it's supposed to be really good. Okay, so if you're listening, by the way, there is one place in America that you can try this particular eggnog that Big Daddy has been really freaking out about.
Petrified.
The person who could develop it, by the way, Cody, apparently at one point they were a nominee for New York City's best bartender, and his famous and mixologist, he's been on Today Show, he's been on Good Morning America, he's been Good Day New York, so apparently he's know what he's talking about. So yeah, you can find it at his gig. I'll put a link to where you can get it in our show notes if you are so brave. But I guess not only are they wanting you to hook up your eggnog with mayo, I didn't tell you this, but the snickerdoodles too. Eggnog snickerdoodles, I guess is the other thing they're wanting to encourage people to do. I didn't bring that up because Big Daddy loves snickerdoodles, so. I do, and now just the concept of that, I'm getting palpitations right now. I'm feeling Fred Sanford So that's not going to be something that I make for you for the holiday?
Man, I'm starting to sweat a little bit.
But you know what? If I did it, it's not like you would know. I mean, it's kind of like the time that I make the tofu burritos. You were fine with it as long as you didn't know that was the main ingredient.
Oh, damn, here we go. I knew she's gonna hold that over my head for the rest of my life. She got me to eat tofu and admit I like it. And then, of course, tells me later that it was tofu, and now I'm like, I can't regurgitate this back up.
It was good. It was even the best thing you ate this week.
Yes, it was the best thing I ate this week. Previous week.
But, so I tell you what, while you mull having the snickerdoodles with the mayo, let me just take an opportunity to say my week since I've been on the mic was actually pretty good. Trying to fight with the audio so that I can post our mini episodes that we have been planning aside. I love my new job, which is really great. I also am just super excited about, the holidays coming up and talking with my family members. And yeah, this is just a good time of year. Between that, a good friend of ours, our sorority sister, who had her really big birthday. Shout out to you, MJ, and happy birthday. The big 5-0. My little bro, Jonathan, just had his birthday. Shout out to you, Big John, the big 3-8.
Yeah, today is my cousin's birthday.
Yes. But outside of that, no, I've felt really blessed that, we've been able to finish as strong as we have been. It's been a kind of crazy year. I think everyone can say that. So the idea that we were able to just pull off a successful Thanksgiving and things like that, very thrilled about that. Hey, before we let things go, do you mind if I share something really cool that I just found out?
Okay.
Okay, so here's the thing. So we know that the Gourmet Goober podcast has been out for a while. And we know that at the end of the year, we're getting all of these Spotify rap things and this is what you listen to and this is the type of music that you or rolling to and things like that. And have you noticed as well, just a side note, that everyone has a rap one? So like I got one to like YouTube, which is kind of depressing because apparently I have been listening a lot to the same type of music over and over again. We won't talk about that. But we got the feedback from Spotify, and I learned some really cool things that I wanted to share with the audience as kind of like my way of saying thank you. So first of all, one thing that I was really surprised to hear is in terms of podcasts in our category, which is sort of hard to define this, because depending on like what platform we are, like some have set us as comedy, some of us as food and culture, because we do talk about food and culture, and some puts us in the art section, which is sort of weird. I don't see us as very arty at all. I mean, we definitely live up to our a little bit gourmet and a lot ratchet. But according to Spotify, we have created 506 minutes of new content, which is more than 97% of other creators in our category.
Really?
Yeah, so we killed it this year. Along with that, we are heard in 11 countries, which I think is pretty cool that that has happened. Our number one locations that we are being heard. Of course, we're heard in the United States, which we want to say thank you to all of you guys for that. But outside of the United States, our biggest set of listeners that we have been in the Netherlands, the United Kingdom. We have lots of fans in Japan. Woohoo! And Canada. So we wanted to say thank you guys for that. Not only that, but the really weird thing about it is outside of that, we have quite a few listeners that follow our podcast. So they don't just pick up a random episode. They're like followers so that they listen over and over again on Spotify. So what percent of our listeners do you think follow our podcast? If you were to choose a number, like 15%, 30%, or 45%?
I would say a nice round number like 30%.
Actually, 45% of our listeners follow the podcast.
Okay.
So that is almost half of our listeners. They listen to us. And just to kind of give you an idea, we are in the top 10% of most followed podcasts on Spotify. Yay, right?
Huge.
Yes. So we wanted to say thank you. That is actually really, really cool. We're in the top 10%. So that means that kind of puts us in some rarefied air. Like, you know, you have like, I think Joe Rogan's podcast is on Spotify. You know, obviously Meghan Markle's podcast is on Spotify. You know, big people who have like these incredible recording studios and contracts and things like that.
We don't have that.
Yeah, we're just recording this from our dining room table. You hear the train sometimes, you hear a dog. You hear us like last episode, Big Daddy forgetting how to act on mic and actually eating some chips.
Those are good chips.
We're wretched like that. That said, they also find that the majority of our podcast listeners are known as adventurers. So they venture out in the unknown, looking for fresher podcasts and gems left to be found. So, again, top 10% of all podcasts listened to and followed on Spotify. That is actually pretty awesome. We had a huge year this year. So over 96% of our listeners discovered us this year. So that means after 3 years, they're not only listening to us, but they're going back and listening to older episodes and things like that. So that is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you're not mocking us.
You know what? I gotta say, though, I mean, when you consider we started recording this, like, our phones, and just the crazy things that we've had to do just to put out content. Like, remember that one time they were working on a roof and we recorded in like a parked car?
In our driveway once.
No, it wasn't a driveway. We wound up going to like...
Well, yeah, we started off like...
in a driveway, and it was too loud, and so we left to this park that was nearby us.
Yes.
It was the one by the Starbucks in Portage.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, to all of our new listeners who've been very patient with us, we want to say thank you. We want to just say thank you for joining us through this journey, and we're really appreciative. So I just wanted to get that out there. That was a pleasant surprise for us. And we've been scored a 5 by our listeners on the podcast as well. So that is actually cool as well. So they listen and they like us. They like us. They really like us. One more thing. Apparently, we were on the arts chart this year. So
arts chart?
Yeah. So they chart all their podcasts. We peaked at number 14. We were peaked at number 23, and we were on the chart for 14 days. So for 2 weeks, we were on the top 25 list of people in our category. Woohoo!
Okay. Did not know that was a thing, but...
Yes! See? Not bad. So anyway, why don't we take a break? I think this is a good time to do that on a good note. Hopefully you're over the trauma of the snickerdoodles and the...
Nope.
That is still a thing. But when we return, we are dropping the Gourmet Goober holiday guide with 3 choices for the select foodie out there. That the gift ideas that definitely cross the intersection of food and pop culture. So you're listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. We will be right back. Hey guys, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And we're the co-hosts with the Gourmet Goober podcast with a very important question.
Are you a little gourmet or a lot wretched?
Or maybe you consider yourself gumbo worthy. Hey, if the answer is yes to any of those questions, then you need to tell the world with your very own Goober Swag. From mugs and aprons to t-shirts and sweatshirts, it's the perfect way to show your love for the Gourmet Goober podcast and, help us keep the lights on in the process. So if you are a little bit gourmet and a lot wretched, head on over to gooberswag.com, that's gooberswag.com, and get your very own Goober gear today. Tell them Big Daddy sent you.
That's right. Tell them.
Hey everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And we are back with the second segment of the Gourmet Goober podcast. This is the segment that we affectionately call What's Eating Us, where we share, the stories, the things that really caught us attention, that basically cross the intersection between food and pop culture. And I'm saying a lot, so I apologize. I'll try to take them all out in post.
Okay.
So this segment, because we're releasing this in December, we decided to go all out and do our first Gourmet Goober holiday guide.
So this is kind of like Oprah's favorite things.
Yeah, except we don't have the Oprah money.
Yeah, I don't think we have the Gail money, the Stevie money, the Dr. Oz. Well, we sure don't have Dr. Oz money.
Okay, we don't mention him because he's quite the cray-cray.
Mm-hmm. With
his crudité plate. Dude, I'm with you. It's a fruit and veggie dish. So anyway, we have 3 stories that cross the intersection of food and pop culture that we decided that for the first time, we're going to share our choices for gifts that you can give the foodie in your life. But like Big Daddy said, we don't have the Oprah money, so it's not going to be a grand gift. It's just something that, quite frankly, I don't know. One is actually pretty damn amazing.
Really?
If you're in that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go over that in a moment. Also, can I just take a moment? I'm gonna apologize to the audience in advance because I'm kind of quite giggly, if you will.
Quite giggly?
Quite giggly.
Okay, can't wait for this.
No. I told you about this because I'm like in a huge, like, happy mood because, okay, our show, for those of you who have followed our show, which, by the way, again, from the last segment, I still can't wrap my brain around the fact that we have actually charted our little show.
The little podcast that could.
Yeah, really? Oh my God. We're so excited about that. But anyway, so as you know, our little show, as we're looking to expand, we've had some really great interviews over the years. Like we've interviewed Ariel from the Food Truck Scholar podcast, which, by the way, side note, shout out to my girl. She got her PhD. She got her dissertation approved. So now she's Dr. Ariel. Thank you very much.
Ooh.
We got a chance to interview the filmmakers behind the Bob's Burgers movie, which was amazing, as well as the founder of So Foodie. And I can't say who it is because I'm still working out the details, but I'm like super psyched because I got an email for like a really huge interview, like a big interview, like so big. I almost like, have you heard our show? We are gourmet and ratchet. Maybe you didn't see the ratchet part.
No, I don't think they did, but we'll take it anyway.
Yeah, we are going to take this. We totally manifested this. So all I can say is coming soon, hopefully, fingers crossed. I want everyone just to take a moment and send us good vibes. We are going to land a huge interview, like probably the biggest yet.
And hopefully it will send us good food.
Well, yeah. Well, what he's launching, I really hope so.
He or she.
Yes, that's right, he or she. But I was reading up on everything they sent me, and I was just like, well, damn, I'll volunteer for this. Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to the holiday guide. So let's see, which one should we talk? You know what? Let's start small and we'll build up.
Okay.
So the first holiday guide choice was actually a gadget that you probably had no idea that you needed until it came out. So let's just take a step back in time, first of all. And we talked about on the show before the popularity. In fact, we actually did a behind, like, a look as to who is the one behind, like, the fiery Cheetos.
Yes.
And
fiery.
Remember, like, no one knows who actually came up with the flaming hot Cheetos phenomenon. And it was a really great story, and we covered it on a previous podcast. So the flaming hot Cheetos has become a really popular phenomenon. And we were just talking about the other day because they opened up a restaurant not far from us that has like hot wings and everything dusted in flaming hot Cheetos.
Yeah, they literally put that ish on everything.
Seriously. So Big Daddy and I were just like, oh my God, this is just hilarious how huge it is. So what if, dear listeners, you wanted to recreate the flaming hot Cheetos phenomenon, maybe make some flaming hot, mozzarella sticks covered with Cheeto dust. Maybe you like Cheetos dust, you want to do other things with it. Look, your kink is your own. We're not going to judge you.
Right. Right.
But what does one obtain the Cheeto dust? Well, two thoughts to that. One, did you know that there's a word for the Cheeto dust?
No, I did not.
Yes. There's actually an official word for Cheeto dust. It's called cheetle.
Cheetle.
And, oh my God, I love this. The origin of the word Cheeto actually comes from one of my favorite old shows that used to be on HBO back in the day called Not Necessarily the News. They used to have this comedian on by the name of Rich Hall, and he would have this segment called Sniglets. Sniglets are words that should be in the dictionary, but is it?
Okay.
So, for example, the word spork, believe it or not, was originally a sniglet.
Spork was just a random thing they just made up with like a fork and a spoon, right?
But they didn't have a name for it.
Okay.
The name spork was a sniglet. And someone sent in cheetle, and years later, it stuck. So, Rich Hall, if you're listening, I'm a huge fan. Years ago, I wanted to be that person to mail in the sniglet because I was a little nerdy kid watching Not Necessarily the News. So I'm happy to know that your invention has lasted all these decades later.
Yeah, it's been underground, but yeah, apparently, yes, it is quite vibrant. And now I'm thinking, how come Don Cheetle didn't come up with Cheeto?
You know what? You would think that.
Yes.
I think that Cheetos are missing their opportunity to have Don Cheetle advertise this product.
True.
Don, if you're listening, give me an idea, man.
Yeah,
Free
go
to
get
you.
that money. Cut that check.
So, again, two things. One, Cheetle, it's an actual word, means Cheetos Dust. But two, there is now a product that is called the Cheetos Duster.
The Cheetos Duster.
The Cheetos Duster. So it's guaranteed to turn any Cheetos into dust so that you can do with the Cheetle whatever you'd like to do. You know, cover your wings with it, cover your partner with it. You
Took
know,
the words out of my mouth.
put it on your face and go to a game so you have like an edible game day disguise or whatever.
Can't wait for that to freeze up.
Whatever you decide to do with your Cheeto, we're not judging. But now we know there's something you can make with it.
I wonder if you can put Cheetos on like your ice cream.
You probably can. And now that's going to be, yeah, you know what? It may not be so bad on like vanilla ice cream. Just saying.
Huh.
So right now you can go to Amazon and to use the gadget, it's actually, it looks like a little miniature blender. It's hilarious. So you unscrew the jar into the base, you load the jar with your Cheeto snack of your choice, you press a button to start the blending process, and voila.
Voila.
Lots of Cheeto.
So my contention is, why exactly can't you just go to the dollar store and get a mini blender, bring it home, and then I don't know, slap a logo that has the Cheetos name on it?
Shh.
Oh, wait, man. Am I thinking of too far ahead now?
Don't be taking our hustle in case it sells out. That's like what I've been planning to do.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Retract my my previous statement.
You know I'm a graphic designer as well. I can design that really easily.
3D printer, yo.
Shh, don't give away the game.
Game is to be told, not sold.
Sold, exactly. Except by us. So, in case you're wondering what to legit do with the Cheetle, they even provide a very helpful website, a landing page. So, amongst their ideas are Cheetos Flaming Hot Dogs, Cheetos Euros, which I admit sounds utterly disgusting, Cheetos Poutine, Cheetos Mozzarella Sticks, Cheetos Potato Latke, and then shockingly enough, Cheetos Flaming Hot Microwave Ramen Noodles.
Ramen noodles.
There's a lot to unpack in that one.
Oh my goodness.
There's also the Cheetos Flaming Hot Rice Bowl, the Cheetos Crusted Fried Pickles in Creamy Ranch, which, honestly, I may try that one. And the Cheetos Queso Tacos, which looks a lot like the quesadillas that you make, actually.
Don't just, demark my, my creations by saying I put Flamin' Hot Cheeto dust in my, no.
No, but you could put it in your Cheeto, your quesadillas.
No one bothers the sanctity of my quesadillas.
Okay, they do have something that I do want to try to make, though. It is a Cheetos Flamin' Hot Donut.
The what?
It is the Cheetos Flaming Hot Donut.
Walnuts.
Actually, this seems really good and very simple. So you get a bag of plain donuts, like plain cake donuts. Your bag of Cheetos Flaming Hot. You make a vanilla glaze, which corn syrup, butter, milk of water, vanilla extract, confectioner's sugar. There's a chocolate glaze you can put on as well. And you grind your Flaming Hot Cheetos into dust, put it in a small bowl, glaze the donut, sprinkle the dust on, and voila. You know what? Not only do I want to try this, I'm going to make it and we're going to try it on the show. If I did it, would you try it?
Yes, but first I would like to do a short, because they're not paying me. I like to do a short promo for Pepto-Bismol. Because I will be using it afterwards.
Hopefully, if the big fancy person who wants to be on the show is listening, this is not always our content.
Yes, it is.
Shh. He doesn't know that.
He will. Or she will.
Or she will. Exactly.
Or they will.
So, what say you? The Cheeto Duster, is that something that you see a lot of value? Because I have to say, I am pretty much, I wasn't convinced already. And of course, you could just do what we always do back in the day. If you want to make like breadcrumbs and something, just use a mallet in a Ziploc box. But if you were so inclined.
So your question is, would I buy it for myself?
Yes. Is this something that would be a holiday guide for, who would, okay, maybe I should ask a better question. Who should we get this for? Like,
I have family members that I would love to slap upside the head with some Cheetos dust. So I have a list just to make them all nice and orange and cheesy. Because really, if you know them, they are orange and cheesy.
You know what? I'll go with you.
Oh, you have a list too.
You know I do.
Never mind.
Well, you know what? If the Cheeto Duster is not your thing, and just so you know as well, if you wanted to hit up the Cheeto Duster and find out more about it, they actually have a landing page. We'll put a link to it in the notes on our podcast. And if you happen to meet Rich Little or you run into him, or no, not Rich Little, Rich Hall. Rich Little is no longer with us. But Rich Hall, say thank you for the Cheeto dust, man. Thank you for the Cheeto. And bring back the sniglet, because I think that next to the word hoopty, I think sniglets is a word that we should all bring in, because it's a brilliant idea. We all know a word that should be in the dictionary, but not. He showed us the way.
That is true.
So while you mull on that as a gift, let's talk about maybe the next gift, which I personally think, as a lover of ranch, it's a tradition that we really need. We just put up the holiday tree, which you woke up to it being on top of you because you fell asleep on the couch, and the
Damn cat flipped it on me.
Poor Braxton was like, look, I had nothing to do with this. Not at all. So, say for instance, you're like me, and you happen to really love ranch. We've talked about it on the show. I think we even had a podcast where we talked about how ranch magically appears in the Midwest when you're at a restaurant and you're just thinking about it.
Scary, isn't it?
But what if you don't have enough ranch in your life and you want to be reminded of it always, even during the holiday season? Well, I have something that is a perfect gift for your family.
Okay.
And it's good for those parents out there who want to have a snitch for their kids, but you can't stand that bossy elf on the shelf. I present to you Ranch on a Branch.
Ranch on a Branch.
Yes. Ranch on a Branch.
Okay, I can't wait to hear this.
Now, for those out there with kids, you know that Elf on the Shelf has been in the holiday tradition for about 20 years. So basically, because we don't have kids, but I know how it works. Basically, what happens is you get this little shop. My gosh, what are y'all doing over there? Yes, we recorded home. Sorry.
Yes, one, during garbage, and two, the cat's trying for take down tree number 2.
It's life.
Yeah. Anyway.
So anyway, how Elf on the Shelf works is you get this little elf that's you hide around your house, and then you lie to your kids and say this little toy is sentient.
Hey, it may be real.
In case kids are watching, yes, it is real, and it's a snitch. So if you do anything wrong, it'll tell on you to your parents and to Santa. If you do too many things, I guess, I don't know, does the elf, give you coal or something? Is that how it works?
I think so. That wasn't allowed in my house because, inanimate objects would get, tossed around.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have worked out very well in my house either.
Yeah, but have a random dog get beat down the front lawn.
So anyway, this year, Hidden Valley Ranch decided to get on the joy and merriment of their own version and developed something called Ranch on a Branch, featuring a mascot that's named, of course, Wrenchy. Wrenchy. So, Wrenchy looks like a little bottle with arms and legs and a smile. He's actually kind of cute.
Okay, now I'm creeped out.
And the main objective, according to them, of Ranch on a Branch is to remind everyone to spread joy this holiday season and every day. And it's perfect for the ranch-loving family in your life. The good thing is, Wrenchy is no snitch. So Wrenchy is not here to tattletale on your kids if they misbehave, because Wrenchy is smart enough to know the snitches get stitches.
True.
No, Ranch on a Branch. It's a ranch dressing bottle shaped plushie that is sold on their website. It actually comes with a storybook that tells the story of Wrenchy's quest to become a real bottle of Hidden Valley Ranch. So for every one of these that are sold, they're actually donating up to $30,000 to Feeding America, which will provide over 300 meals to people in need this season and beyond, which I think is really awesome. And like Elf on the Shelf, Wrenchy can be placed because of how its arms and everything's are posable. He can hang off on a variety of things. So again, he's just here to spell love and joy and ranch dressing, which, as we all know, isn't that what ranch is really about? Just love and joy and, good stuff on your french fries and pizza?
I'm going to defer to you on this. I admit I was not a ranch person until I married you. But, yeah, it's a decent salad condiment. And, yes, it does go good with, it's a good dip for other things.
So, Ranch on the Branch is being sold on the Hidden Valley's website, which we'll also do a link to as well. The storybook looks adorable, but just in case that you can't get a Ranch on a Branch, because again, they're sold on a limited time offer, no worries, because there are also other holiday things you can take advantage of. So, along with the Ranch on a Branch collectible box set, which sells for $30, there is a Ranch on a Branch holiday blanket. There's a Ranch on a Branch lounge set for $45. You can actually get your own custom. Oh my God, this is actually cool. You can get your own Hidden Valley Ranch custom holiday bottle with your name on it for $30.
Okay.
You can get an upgraded Ranch on the Branch lounge set for $60. So again, no matter what, you can get your salad dressing on and share your love of all things ranch dressing.
I have people that I would give this to, but then I would have to ask myself, do I really like them?
You know what I have to say? I'm kind of tempted to get the Ranch on the Branch blanket if it wasn't $65. Because it looks kind of cute.
It is cute.
And I love the fact that the storybook for Ranch on a Branch, if you open it up, it actually looks like a refrigerator. How adorable is that?
Okay, I admit that is kind of different.
It comes in a box that looks like a refrigerator. So it has like little shelves on it and little fruit. So yeah, Ranch on a Branch.
Okay, I'll give you that. It is colorful.
So the last holiday gift idea is for those of you who are the fast food junkies that are in your life. And we all know those individuals who, basically sadly like our last former president, could eat it literally morning, noon, and night. Which is a good thing because this actually gives you a lifetime supply of this product.
A lifetime supply.
Yes. So
you're not going to live that lifetime if you partake of this every day.
So first of all, you may have heard of something that's called the McDonald's McGold card. It's a secret card that only certain individuals have access to.
Like the secret society.
Yes. It's like the Illuminati for chicken nuggets.
Chicken McNuggets.
Sorry. Chicken McNuggets Illuminati. So whoever holds the card, and this is true, gets unlimited lifetime supply of McDonald's.
It's like Thor's hammer.
Yes, it's literally like Thor's hammer. So you can show up at any McDonald's around the world and just flash it. Oh! And they have to produce the unlimited McDonald's. Your meal is free. So apparently you can't buy one, just to kind of give you an idea of how exclusive it is. Basically, the gold cards are handed out at the whims of the franchise owners. And there's only two ways to get a gold card, either nepotism or good deeds, basically. Or just being a celebrity. So, for example, just to give you an idea who has it, Rob Lowe has a gold card. Remember Charles Ramsey? And if you don't know...
Oh, wait a minute. Charles Ramsey. Okay, first of all, he's not the police chief, right?
No.
Okay, is he the guy... Wait a minute, because I feel like this is like my Jeopardy. Was he the guy who helped the one girl get away from the serial killer dude?
Yes. Amanda Berry, the one who was kidnapped.
Yes.
And held prisoner. He has a McDonald's McGold card. Rob Lowe revealed that he had a McDonald's McGold card because he got it from a family friend who happened to be the inventor of the McDonald's Egg McMuffin.
Really?
Yes. So apparently he knows the person who created the McNuffin. I can't say McNuffin.
McNuffin. Looking for nothing in all the walls.
Is that like the McLovin?
Yes.
So
McStuffin.
The McMuffin, the Egg McMuffin, he knows who created it. And so this person was one of the original McDonald's franchisees. Warren Buffett, like I said, has one. Charles Ramsey has one. He earned his enough. The reason why he got his was apparently when he rescued the woman and her child from the kidnapper, he was in the process of eating McDonald's when he noticed her. So because McDonald's heard that, they decided to pay it forward with a McGold card.
Which is cool for them. I don't know how Charles Ramsey feels about that now.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I mean, look, you're always guaranteed at least one dinner. But here's the thing. The McGold card actually don't work at any every location. So the medal only works at certain locations. So Rob Lowe, for example, only works at 6 locations in California. William Buffett, who also famously has a McGold card, which, by the way, just as a side note, seriously, man, you can buy all the McDonald's. Why do you get guaranteed free McDonald's for life.
Yeah, Warren Buffett literally could buy a McDonald's, a Starbucks.
Yeah, you could like create your own, dude. But his only works in Omaha, Nebraska. So you can't just flash it everywhere.
So it's only at particular participating restaurants.
Yeah, so you just can't go to France and go, oh, I would like the L'Oreal with cheese. They'll look at you weird, like, and what is this?
You want to bet? Bet you did walk up in there and be like, you see this? I'm $1. You see this card? Give
Seriously,
me my buckets.
Warren, if you're listening, just pay for it, okay? Seriously. So we know that it exists. And now McDonald's is actually giving you a chance to be amongst the rarefied celebrities out there and get your own McDonald's McGold card. So they are actually doing something that's called the Season of Sharing. And how it works is when you make a purchase on the McDonald's app beginning December 5th and ending on December 25th, it actually increases your chances of winning a McGold card. And once you get it, you'll have the opportunity to wield it like a pro. But there are some caveats, okay?
Okay.
So apparently, like I said, it's not going to work everywhere. So that's the thing.
Yeah, don't see it working in Northwest Indiana.
Well, no. I think you can get it from Northwest Indiana. But the thing is, I think there's like a limitation to the amount of food that you're able to get. So in other words, I won't be able just to come and just like, you know, like in Halloween when you would go and you hear those kids that dress up for Halloween and they have like one outfit and then they come back and they have like another outfit on. I think request some candy.
Yeah, just can't show up the next, hour later with a mustache.
Yeah, in the car and go, I would like some more food. So, just like that, I think the way it works is you can only get, yes. So, the McGold card has an annual value of only $1,040 per year. Because, yes, it does guarantee you free McDonald's for life, but they actually figured it out that it works out to a $10 McDonald's meal twice a week.
At the current inflation rate.
That will guarantee you a Big Mac.
Yeah.
In Chicago. It'll guarantee you a Big Mac and maybe a drink.
Yeah, that's kind of like on the low end of what you think you're about to get. You know, that guarantees like one person, one basic meal. Right
also,
now.
there is a value of $1,040 per year for up to 50 years. So if you go beyond those 50 years, I'm sorry, you do not get guaranteed free McDonald's after that.
I would like to say for the record, actually not off the record, you may not see the 50 years if you continue on this track. But I guess I've been eating McDonald's for literally 40 some odd
Yeah,
years.
but you don't eat McDonald's twice a week. Every week.
No.
For 52 weeks.
I have not had McDonald's in 2 weeks. 3 weeks. So, yeah. It would go kind of weird.
Here's the cool thing, though. Winners will also get $22,285 on top of the gold card to help offset taxes on the prizes.
Okay, that's helpful.
I think that is actually pretty brilliant because here's the thing. We all know that when you watch these things, for example, if you see the makeover shows where they redo your house, Extreme Makeover. What they never tell people is you have to pay taxes on the upgrade, right? So that raises your property tax. And a lot of times when people win these extravagant gifts, they're priced out of keeping them.
Yeah, kind of like the Price is Right gifts.
Exactly. Which actually happened to a friend of ours that we went to college with. He went to college with it was a friend of ours who played on the volley cards.
Yeah, it was the men's volleyball team.
The men's volleyball team. And he got called off. Phil got called up during the Price is Right. And he took part in the Price is Right gifts things. Or, no, he was in the Showcase Showdown, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, he didn't make it to the Showcase Showdown, but he did get called up on stage with Bob Barker. And here's the thing. He would have had to pay taxes on the gifts that he got, like the prizes he won. But then what made it worse is he wasn't even able to keep them, because remember, he was officially there as part of the team. And NCAA rules says that you can't keep them.
That is correct.
But even if he kept them, he couldn't have paid the taxes on it.
Right.
So McDonald's at least thought enough about the winners that they are going to actually give you money in order to cover that as an expense.
Yeah, pretty much. When you mentioned this to me earlier, I said, this would be a really nice thing to, if I was able to obtain this, that I might try it once, but at that point, I would most likely give it to a charity or a homeless shelter. And
you know what? I really love that idea because of the fact that, especially not only homeless shelters, but like I used to work, as our listeners know, for a domestic violence organization based out of Chicago. And a lot of things that we gave to the women who are men and women, because men can be affected by domestic violence as well. And not just men and women, we've had non-binary victims and other people that we worked with as well. But the one thing that was constant is we always gave them gift cards to leave with.
Okay.
And a lot of times they were food gift cards because of the fact that, sometimes they'll leave with nothing and they just have cash on them. There's a lot of restaurants, well, at least before the pandemic, that didn't accept cash. We had talked about that moving towards a cashless thing. But if you're unbanked, or in the case of, I've met more than a few victims that couldn't use their credit cards because of the fact that their partners were following them, was tracking it. So that's a way of being found. If you want to escape a domestic violence situation, they'll do that. So having like something like this card or just any food gift card would be helpful because it gives them the opportunity to go in and safely be able to get food for themselves and their dependents.
That's fair.
So this would actually be a perfect thing to do.
I've also decided that if, there's another way to get this a gold card or whatnot.
Right.
You could just find whoever may have one of these gold cards, and you may explain to them that you may want one of these cards, and then you may get one of these cards from them by persuasion.
Two things. One, you are not allowed to see Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood ever again before we talk about the podcast. We do the podcast. And two, the Gourmet Goober does not advise or recommend anyone obtain the McGold card by this method.
Strong arm is a little heavy.
Now, here's the thing. They are giving out a gold card not only to the winners, but McDonald's is actually giving individuals the opportunity to give 3 other gold cards to their friends and family. So they're given a total of 12 cards in all in this event. So there'll be 3 winners, and then each winner have the opportunity to give it to their friends and family as well.
Okay.
And like I said, you have free meals twice a week for life, or 50 years, whatever comes first, obviously. And yeah, so it's kind of a way to spread holiday cheer not only to you, but, to some of your buds to make sure they get some grub. So if they do decide to bring back the McRib, rest in peace, then they too can enjoy a McRib twice a week for 50 years.
Hold on, I'm gonna need a minute on that McRib thing.
I'm sorry.
all right, I'm back.
So, just curious, who would you actually give the 3 gold cards to? Like, I would give one to my brother Ben because he's, like, on the road, with driving a truck. So that would be useful. My parents are not actually all that big on McDonald's. So I don't know if I would necessarily give it to them.
No, your mother would be the person that would be like, you would give them, like, here's the gift of a gold card. And she would be like, no. Why are you trying to kill me?
I would actually give one to my sister as well because, she works really late in her job. So it would be something helpful that she can just grab a McMuffin. See, I said it right. McMuffin.
Very good.
On the way back.
Yeah, I can see that with your family. My family's too bougie for this. They probably have their own gold cards somewhere else, but this might be the one thing, like McDonald's. I mean, I guess I have some like little cousins that I might share this with that they do dirt in the streets, and they look like they need these cards. So yeah, I would probably give it to my younger cousins.
Incidentally, I was also curious because I didn't realize. Okay, maybe I'm like one of the few people who hadn't heard about the McGold card. I thought that was kind of a myth. So I think it's funny that they exist. So I was curious as to what other chains have one. And believe it or not, Burger King also has a gold card that's available. They call it their Gold Crown card.
Okay.
So the Gold Crown card enables you, again, to get free food forever. They've only been in existence since 2006. Again, you have to be famous to get one. But just in case you're wondering who has the Burger King Crown card, George Lucas has one.
The Star Wars?
Yes.
Impresario? Yeah.
Because of the fact that Burger King partnered with the Star Wars films for such a long time.
Okay.
So that totally makes sense. Robert Downey Jr. actually has a gold crown card because he credits Burger King with helping him beat drug addiction. But here's the crazy thing. Actor Hugh Laurie, so you may know him from A Bit of Frying Laurie if you're like me and have BritBox and been binging. It's actually a comedy show that he used to be on. Americans may know him from House.
Okay.
He's also the baddie and the night manager. Whew.
Moment.
Yeah, I need a moment. I've been watching that.
Anyway.
But here's the thing about Hugh. Hugh actually was on a show, or he did an interview, right? Where he lied about having one. And he was busted by Burger King, who got him his own gold card.
Okay, so originally he didn't have one.
And he lied about having one. And Burger King's like, haha, no you don't, but here you go.
Okay, so basically...
That's actually pretty awesome.
The moral to the story is, if you can lie about balling, some way you can luck your way into, the balling status of having a crown card?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, so it's a gold crown card. Oh, and Jay Leno apparently has one too. And in an interview, he said when he flashes his card, the employee's taking his order. It's like, whoa, where did you get this? He said the employee couldn't have cared less if he was then the host of The Tonight Show or driving a Porsche. So, Jay has one apparently.
Good for him. But I bet you his band back then, when he hosted The Tonight Show, his band leader,
oh, that's
Kevin
right,
Eubanks, does not have one
because he's a vegetarian.
That's right.
Wasn't there famously like a food related bet where he had to like eat meat or something?
Okay, there was a running joke. I forgot I think it was an NBA Finals bet.
Yeah.
Between the Lakers and the Philadelphia 76ers, of which Kevin Eubanks was a big fan. And apparently, I forgot which year, it had to be the early 2000s, where Kevin lost the bet and he had to eat a corn dog
Ooh.
on TV presented to him by current Laker. I'm sorry, not at this moment current, but at that moment, Laker presented to him by Laker Rick Box.
Okay, that is like bizarre of fun bizarre. All right, not only am I going to give you guys a link to, the McDonald's information, so if you want to try to snag one yourself, I'm definitely do. And remember, you can actually get one for yourself and for 3 of your family members. If you don't have someone, I do want to maybe suggest maybe sharing one with like a local domestic violence shelter location. They would totally love it. It would go a long way. Just hint, hint, saying if you feel generous.
Or a local church or charity.
Yes, that as well. But yeah, you can find all the links to our very special holiday guide and some of the weird gifts you can get on our show notes as well as on thegourmetgoober.com.
Oh, wait a minute. Do we get to tell them, what other places should have gold cards?
That is a good question. Like, are there any places that you could just imagine eating unlimited? My problem is, my choices would be, like, bougie as hell. Like, if there's, like, a card that I could get, like, unlimited croque monsieurs from Tony's Patisserie in Chicago, I would totally sign up for that.
But they are too refined for you to get said gifts.
Okay, our French accents are really bad, and we do have a lot of French listeners, so we're just kidding. We love you.
We do.
What else?
Shay, oui.
Stop.
That was me.
I don't know.
Okay, wait a minute. I knew I had thought about this for a second, but so you could get one from Five Guys.
Oh, now that would be the bomb.
That would be cool. Matter of fact, they should call it like the 6th dude card.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That would be mine. Because, you got to get all them fries. You got to get, a whole bunch of nice little burgers. They got to keep that because I would just explode on that. They're
going to have to raise the price up, though, because limited to $10 per meal, like they do with the McDonald's.
Yeah, that might get you, like, 2 milkshakes.
Yeah, exactly. Because you could just eat for yourself and have a small burger and fry, and you're going to pay more than 10.
Right.
Easily.
Okay. The other one I had, once again, burger.
Okay.
This one might break the bank because they sure would have to raise up the limit on this. Okay, so what if Shake Shack came out with a card? And they called it, the Shake Shack and Shimmering card.
You put in a lot of thought to this.
Just these 2 cards.
I like it. I like the way you're going.
That's right.
The one thing that you could get a lot of food for the $10, but then you probably shouldn't eat a lifetime supply of it is White Castle.
Oh, dear. Good. Googa mooga.
They could call it the golden winning card. Oh my God. You know what? I'm not even going to finish that joke.
I'm now disgusted. But I like the idea.
Come on, you know that you can get a lot of food for $10.
You could. And trust me, I've tried. I like that.
Now, whether or not you want to eat it in one sitting, unless you're looking to levitate, because...
No, you can do it late at night.
White Castle has a particular effect on people that... Look, we're trying to get this fancy person on our show, so maybe we should not continue down this way. Okay,
so basically, I'm just going to lose it right now if I call it the Tootie card.
The Tootie card! Dear White Castle, we are not saying that at all. We love your product, even though it does not always agree with us.
Yeah, so White Castle, I know I've talked about this a long time ago. I've even written to you about this, but are you ever going to bring back mini corn dogs?
Oh my God. This is not the time. I still not let go of
this in 25 years.
He is hurt.
Man, I love them little mini corn dogs at White Castle.
Well, while we take a moment to say a fond farewell to those food dishes that we've lost, the McRib, the mini corn dogs. Why don't we just take a break to mourn those losses, and then we'll come back and we will finish strong with the best thing we ate this week.
Wait a minute. What about the Taco Bell, rock the bells, going to hell card?
Okay, I need to stop you for your own good.
Yeah, you do.
Although, we could have, like, LL Cool J, like, be the spokesperson of that.
Exactly.
Because Rock the Bells Radio, cross-promotion. See, we helping y'all out. We're helpers.
Yeah.
So, you're listening to the Gourmet Goober podcast. We will be right back, y'all. Hey guys, I'm JJ Outlaw, better known as the Gourmet Goober, and I'm here to share this great new recipe journal from author Gaby Loreno. It's a progressive cooking journal designed for short and simple recipes at the beginning, before advancing with spaces for longer recipes as you go. It's colorful, fun, fits easily in the kitchen drawer, and it's perfect for any home cook. Best of all, it has over 100 pages for your most beloved culinary delights. Be sure to get your copy today at Amazon.com. Hey everyone, this is JJ Outlaw.
And T Outlaw.
And we are back with the best thing we ate this week, the last segment of the Gourmet Goober podcast. That's when we share with you our favorite dishes, whether it comes from our favorite diner, a new place that we discovered that's a hole in the wall, franchise restaurants, you name it, even our own kitchen. If it's good grub, we are telling you. How about that? And as always, we invite our listeners to share with us what's the best thing they had this week. So if you have something that you really love, just email us at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. That's thegourmetgoober@gmail.com, and we may read your letter on a future show. So as always, we start this segment, and I'm sorry, I know I'm giggling a lot, but our dog just fell asleep by our feet, so I'm hoping that he doesn't start snoring in the middle of this. So if you hear snoring, that's not either of us, that's our dog that, if you follow us on social media, you'll see that he does nothing, but he snores like he has a full-time job. So, Big Daddy, as always, we start this segment with you. So, what would you say is the best thing you had this week?
The best thing I had this week was actually, I'm a big fan of burgers. And for some reason, the Goober decided on a Saturday to pick up brunch. And of course, me being me, the person who will never eat food after 10:30 a.m., breakfast after 10:30 a.m., I decided to pick up lunch. So oddly enough, the Gourmet Goober actually picked up food from a place that is literally called Brothers Breakfast and Lunch. So me being me, I ordered a burger called the Barbecue Bacon Burger. And I gotta say, this half-pound gem was actually worth the time it took to get here. I gotta say, it actually had a flavorful little kick there. It was well done. It was well seasoned. It had a nice allotment of cheese, spices.
How was the barbecue sauce?
The barbecue sauce, I gotta admit, it was subdued, but at the same time, it actually blended in well with the rest of the bun, the condiments, and the burger.
Ooh, subdued.
Yes.
Fancy.
Thank you. But nonetheless, I gotta say that it actually came pretty warm. It had a nice little side hook of, I want to say steak fries. And I gotta say, it was actually the best thing I ate this week from out of Brothers Breakfast and Lunch in Maryville, Indiana.
I'm laughing because we were talking off mic about how difficult that was to say.
Yes.
It's like quite the tongue twister.
There's a lot of B's that were going on with that experience.
Yes. That said, let me just drop another gem that Brothers Breakfast and Lunch is actually one of my favorite places to eat in Miracle, Indiana, and in Northwest Indiana, period. So, unlike Big Daddy, I can eat breakfast morning, noon, and night. I have no problem. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, breakfast. But then he also laughs because I eat pizza for breakfast, which I think is totally legit.
For you.
Anyway, I say this because I have stayed with their breakfast food, and I've never had a bad dish over there. My personal favorite is their butcher skillet, which actually has pork belly and sausage and bacon, and yeah, it is the bee's knees. You know, it's really good. And I've not said that since I was a child, but it's that good. That said, I've never had any of their lunch items or their burger items because, you know, place says breakfast, you go for breakfast. So I'll have to try that. So it really was, it sounds like, well, I know you look like you were really happy when you were eating it. And a half-pound burger, I have to say, looking at the dish when it arrived from DoorDash, usually you know how you see or something, you're like, it's a half-pound burger, ha ha ha, but it's not that ginormous. No, this was a pretty substantial burger.
Yeah, for a half-pounder. Yeah. It had a little weight on it. A little bit.
So I'm glad that you like it, and it looked incredible.
It was.
So for me, my favorite thing that I had this week, believe it or not, was something that you made.
Sure say what?
Exactly. So speaking of tongue twisters, my choice was the Berkshire thick cut Copa pork steak that you prepared. And let me just explain. So this is a specialty Copa pork steak that we ordered recently from an online outlet that we first learned about during the height of the pandemic called Wild Fork Foods. And I've actually talked about them before. Mm-hmm. In fact, you know what? I was actually thinking we should do like our favorite foodie things as an episode. Because not a lot of people know about Wild Fork Foods. And I've told at least 2 people this week, my mom, and then I also told, I think one of my coworkers in a Zoom meeting about it as well. It's a fantastic place, you guys, if you haven't heard about it. It's kind of like an online specialty delivery service for meat. And they have everything. Oh, he's starting to snore. They have everything from your basic chicken thighs and, sausages, all the way through more specialty items that are harder to find, such as venison and quail and just pretty much anything that you can imagine. If you're a huge fan, by the way, of the Brazilian Steakhouse, they do have an incredible selection of meats that you can get that you would find there, like the picanha steak.
Yes.
Or they have the Brazilian sausages. In fact, we had one of the Brazilian sausage the other day. That's what I made for dinner.
I remember that.
Yeah. And the thing that I really like about them is they're pretty reasonably priced. And even though they are based out of Florida, they have regional distributors all throughout the country. So if you're like where we live, for example, we live in just over the border from Chicago, right? We ordered ours, and this is true. We got the wild bug to order it like 2 or 3 in the morning. We're like binge watching some bad movie, and we're like, hey, we haven't ordered from this in a while. So we ordered like 2 or 3 in the morning, and then we got it like that same morning at before noon. They just delivered it to us same day delivery, which I think is fantastic. And a little hint, if you join their, what is it? They have like
a subscription?
Yeah, it's like you pay one price and you have free delivery.
Okay.
Which is great because free same day delivery of like fresh meats packed in ice delivered to you. You can't beat that. And no, we're not being paid by them. Although we should, because I talk about them a lot. But yeah. So on our last order, we saw these pork steaks when we were ordering their pork belly strips.
Yes.
And the pork belly strips, which, by the way, are really good, and they're usually sold out. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, yes. And we decided to try the Berkshire pork steak. Now, a couple things. If you're not familiar with the Berkshire pig is actually a rare breed of pig that you can only find in the United Kingdom. It's an English breed of pig, and it's known for its round and buttery flavor when you prepare it. So this particular pork steak has the copa cut. And what copa is it's the cut of the beak. It's kind of known around the collarbone. It's sort of known as the ribeye cut of pork.
Okay.
And it's not something you can immediately go to, a grocery store and pick up. You have to have it specially ordered. It's also known as pork collar, and it covers that section of muscles that is around the pig, basically just above the shoulder.
Okay.
But it is hella good. So if you have a place with a good butcher, you can maybe request it specially cut yourself. Or if you're nearby, you can order it online like we did. So let me tell you, it doesn't look like a regular pork steak. If you ever had one of those, they're kind of long and thin. Nah, this is like an actual steak. So it's very thick. It has a lot of marbling from, that buttery fat it talks about from the Berkshire pig. The way that you prepared it, which hilariously enough, you don't quite remember the recipe.
No, I never do.
Because you're using the force of the ancestors to tell you
yes,
how to
when
do
the ancestors say stop, then I do a little bit more, and then maybe think about it.
Well, it was incredibly seasoned the way he did it. It was very moist. Every bite was just melt in your mouth. And you even put like this delicate kind of bread coating on it, a breading on it, that totally added to it. So yeah, really, really liked it. So much so, you guys, that when I finished eating it, I was looking at Big Daddy at the table and I was like, dude, I'd like to shake your hand.
And she did.
You gave me this look like, really? And over 15 years of marriage, I've never made anything that you want to shake my hand with. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm going to shake your hand with this.
And I appreciate that.
So, sadly, although normally we share the recipes, this is one of the first times that I won't be able to. But if you would like to order this steak on your own, which I would highly recommend that you do, I will put a link in the show notes so that you can pick up your own wild fork steak. So yeah, that was the best thing I had this week.
And I appreciate that.
So, Big Daddy, wrapping up the show, where can they find you online?
Well, you can find me on social media at TOutlaw, which is on Elon Musk Twitter, and on Instagram at TOutlaw Chelsea Wells.
For now, you can also find me on Elon Musk's Twitter. And I don't know why we define it that, but it really is. Anyone who's listened to the show knows I love my Twitter. So I'm very sad about that, as I said earlier. But assuming that Twitter is still around, you can look me up at JJ Outlaw. You can also find me on Instagram at Gourmet Goober. That's our official Instagram account that I manage. You can drop us a line, as I mentioned earlier, at thegourmetgoober.com, at thegourmetgoober@gmail.com. And you can check us out anytime on Facebook at the Gourmet Goober blog. So on behalf of Big Daddy and I, we just want to take this opportunity to say, first of all, thanks for listening. We are totally excited that you are part of Gooberland for this year, and we are totally jazzed because we have some really cool projects in the work for next year. We also thank you for being so patient. We are working on those bonus episodes. We run into a little bit of a technical difficulty, as I mentioned earlier, but we'll have those prepared for you soon. In the meantime, again, thank you for listening, and until next time, happy eating.
Happy eating.